Let's talk about how to detox your liver safely and naturally. We know that our liver does a lot of functions in our body, from detoxification to producing bile to help us digest fats and proteins, converting poisons into harmless particles, helping with different metabolic processes, synthesizing certain proteins for our blood making. Certain enzymes for our blood, storing vitamins and minerals, producing cholesterol, which we need for many different things in our body, and even helping regulate our hormones. So there's a lot that the liver does. And so if we're going to be detoxifying or trying to clean up our liver, it's important to understand how to do this safely. So there are some popular cleanses or detox that are out there. People will say, hey, here's this product, just drink this and you'll clean up your liver. Or they may say, hey, you need to go on this cleanse, where you only consume certain foods and you are gonna get rid of all the toxins from your liver. The problem is there is not a lot of research on these types of cleanses and whether or not they actually work, and in fact, some of them could potentially be harmful. For example, there are certain herbal products out there that claim to help clean up your liver. However, there is limited research on their safety and effectiveness. One of the ingredients found in some of these herbal supplements is called kava kava, and that has been associated with cases of severe liver damage. Other ingredients, like green tea extract, milk thistle, have shown some positive effects, but again, more research needs to be done. There is also other popular cleanses out there that involve consuming large amounts of grapefruit or only consuming certain foods for a period of time. Again, there is not much research on these types of cleanses and whether or not they can actually improve the function of your liver. In fact, some of these cleanses may lead to nutrient deficiencies because you are not consuming enough calories or enough of certain nutrients. And then there's fasting. Now, fasting has been studied a little bit more than these other cleanses, but it still doesn't have the strongest evidence. One study found that fasting actually didn't have an effect on liver fat compared to people who were eating regular meals. And another study found that the combination of fasting and exercise actually had no benefit over exercise alone. Now, those were animal studies, so we can't really apply those results to humans, and other human studies did find that fasting for 24 hours can reduce liver fat, but again, that was only for 24 hours. So you're not going to be doing prolonged fasting for weeks at a time when you are trying to clean up your liver. What we do know is that the best way to take care of your liver is to simply live a healthy lifestyle. Let's talk about some ways that you can actually support the function of your liver without having to go through any extreme measures. The first thing is to watch your alcohol consumption. Excessive alcohol consumption can put a lot of strain on your liver, so cutting back on alcohol or completely eliminating it will help your liver do its job. The next thing is to stop smoking and limit exposure to secondhand smoke. Smoking and secondhand smoke can introduce a lot of toxins into your lungs, which then puts a burden on your liver to try to filter out those toxins. The third thing is to maintain a healthy weight. If you are overweight or obese, that can put a lot of strain on your liver because your liver has to process and store and metabolize all of the excess fat. So if you are overweight, losing just 5 to 7% of your body weight can greatly reduce the amount of fat that is stored in your liver. The next thing is to exercise regularly. Exercise helps to reduce body fat, especially belly fat, which can then reduce the amount of fat stored in your liver. It also helps improve insulin sensitivity, which can reduce the amount of fat produced by your liver. A good target is to exercise at least 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity exercise that can be broken down to about 30 minutes of exercise most days of the week. Next is to avoid processed foods, sugary foods, and drinks. These foods can lead to excess fat being produced by your liver. They can also lead to inflammation in your liver and increase the risk of developing fatty liver disease. Now, when I say processed foods, I'm talking about foods that have been altered from their natural state. So that would include things like fast food, fried foods, baked goods, soda, juice, sweetened beverages, and snacks that come in a package. Now, in addition to avoiding processed foods, it's also important to control your portions. Overeating can lead to excess fat being stored in your liver, so it's important to eat until you're full, but not overstuffed. And this ties in with the next point, which is to eat a balanced diet. Eating a balanced diet that is high in fiber and low in saturated and trans fats will help reduce the amount of fat stored in your liver. Make half of your plate fruits and vegetables, quarter of your plate complex carbohydrates like whole grains, and a quarter of your plate protein. Some good sources of protein are fish, chicken, beans, lentils, tofu, nuts, and seeds. Another thing you can do to support your liver is to cut back on saturated and trans fats. Saturated and trans fats can lead to excess fat being stored in your liver and can increase the risk of developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. You'll find saturated fats in foods like butter, cream, unskimmed milk, lard, and processed meats. You'll find trans fats in foods like margarine, shortening, fried foods, pizza, cookies, crackers, and many more processed foods. Now, the next thing you can do to support your liver is to limit your intake of salt and sugar. Now, too much salt can lead to fluid retention and high blood pressure, which can put extra strain on your liver. Too much sugar, as we mentioned before, can lead to excess fat being stored in your liver. Next, you want to watch your cholesterol levels. High levels of LDL cholesterol can increase the risk of developing liver disease. So it is important to eat a diet that is low in saturated and trans fats and to exercise regularly to help reduce your LDL cholesterol levels. Then you want to get enough sleep. Not getting enough sleep can lead to hormonal changes that can affect the function of your liver. Try to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. You also want to manage stress. Chronic stress can lead to hormonal changes that can affect the function of your liver. So practice stress management techniques such as deep breathing exercises, yoga, meditation, or spending time in nature. The next thing you should do is drink plenty of water. Drinking plenty of water will help your liver flush out toxins. A good target is to drink half of your body weight in ounces of water per day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you want to drink about 75 ounces of water per day. And finally, you want to consider taking a daily multivitamin. This can help ensure that you are getting enough vitamins and minerals to support the function of your liver. There are some foods that you can add into your diet that can specifically support the liver. One is coffee. There was a study that found that people who consumed 2 to 3 cups of antioxidant-rich coffee per day had a lower risk of developing liver disease. Another food that you can add into your diet is green tea. There was one study that found that people who drank green tea had a lower risk of developing liver cancer. Then we have turmeric. Turmeric is a compound found in the turmeric plant, and it has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that can help protect the liver from damage. There has been several studies that have shown that turmeric can help reduce liver fat and improve liver enzymes. And lastly, there's beets. Beets are rich in antioxidants and they can help improve liver function and reduce oxidative stress in the liver. As you can see, there are many things that you can do to support the function of your liver, and many of them don't involve extreme measures like detox teas or cleanses or prolonged fasting. Instead, you can make simple changes to your diet and lifestyle that can have a positive impact on your liver. If you're concerned about the health of your liver, definitely talk to your doctor. Your doctor can perform tests to evaluate the function of your liver and determine if there is any problems. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something new. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Also, if you have a question, comment down below. I do read all the comments and I do my best to answer as many of them as possible. If you'd like to learn more about natural health and nutrition tips, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you really want to dive deep into learning about nutrition, check out my course, The Complete Nutrition Bundle. You will learn about the nutrients that you need to fuel your body and the foods that you need to eat to keep your body running optimally. Check out the link down below for more information. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.